Get ready for the world's greatest Arsenal podcast. Welcome to another podcast by Guns and Yellow Ribbons. Enjoy the show.
Oi, oi, oi! Hello, good evening, welcome. It's Friday night. We've got our beers open.
Get ready for the world's greatest Arsenal podcast.
You know what?
I really
don't need it. These guys have been absolutely crucifying beforehand. It's Friday night. We are on a live North London derby phone-in. We will touch on the PSV game because you cannot not talk about such an outstanding performance by an Arsenal team. Probably the most complete performance many of us have seen for a number of months, probably years, by an Arsenal squad. And also, we got to talk about this. Good evening, chaps. Good evening, Trevor. Good evening, Dan. We haven't got Alex tonight. Short notice. This idea came up at 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock tonight. At 9 o'clock this morning. So if you want to join us, go to gunsandyellowribbons.com/show. Click on the link. You'll drop into the green room and we'll bring you on once we start talking about the North London derby. Trevor, how are you doing? You're being mischievous tonight, and even
I'm not. I'm excited because it's not North London derby weekend. I'm excited. I'm excited. I can't get my words out. I'm that excited, but I'm really pleased. We're going to talk about the PSV game first because it's worth talking about. Don't you think, Dan?
I don't know, really. I think I might just stay silent and just talk about the derby. But are you okay, Ferg? Just you seem a bit aggressive, and you was a bit aggressive the other night, and it's just it hasn't stopped really, and you've already messed it up. And I think, Trev, it's about time we outsource.
Listen. Just because you're famous now, and if anybody does want an interview, autograph, or a selfie with Dan, contact gunsandyellowribbons.com, and I'm sure we can arrange.
I wouldn't. It'll just mess it up. But it'll just mess it up. Don't message him. Come straight direct to the boss.
So that link at gunsandyellowribbons.com now is now live. So if you do want to join and sit in the background for a few minutes, we will do. Martin Odegaard, our captain, has signed a new 5-year contract, bringing him up to his 29 with the Arsenal. What good news is that? Dan, I'll let you come in first on that one.
Yeah, it is. It's great news, to be honest. Look, we've been through the last 10 years of losing our best players and ridiculous scenarios where they've run down contracts, and it's nice to see the club being proactive. And it's not just Martin, it's a few other players that have signed on recently. So massive influence on our team. Fantastic player, and fantastic to see him sign for another 5 years.
Trev, what's your thoughts on it?
I think it's amazing that we're getting all these young players to stay with us on long contracts. It firstly shows the ambitions of the Arsenal, and secondly, it shows how happy they are as a club at the moment, the players and everything. They're all signing long contracts, and they don't do that if they're not happy. I've also heard a rumour that Ben White is very, very much in the pipelines, and then that's about them all wrapped up then, isn't it, folks? So I'm excited about them signing the contracts. I'm excited about them, what we've got to come, but you know me, I can't look past this weekend, Ferg. I just can't, mate. I know we've got to talk about PSV. We'll do that, but I'm just so excited about this game this weekend. But going back to PSV, let's give it 2 minutes on PSV then. When I saw that team announced, I thought, yes, Arteta means business in this competition this year, because that was the strongest team we could possibly put out. I'm not prepared to talk about the goalkeepers. I don't know whether you are, Dan, or you are, Ferg, but I support the Arsenal. I support Arteta. I think that Ramsdale He's very, very hard done by. He's worked so hard. But at the end of the day, Arteta thinks he wants Raya. He gets Raya. What do you reckon, Dan?
I don't know. I mean, I've said all along, I just feel like Raya is a step up in class. But it's a step up in class on an already fantastic goalkeeper. And I think that's a big point to point out. Ramsdale hasn't done much wrong. And for a young keeper, and don't forget, I think Ramsdale's a few years younger than Raya as well. So we are sort of expecting mistakes from Ramsdale at times. Not that he's made many. He had some fantastic performances, but a young player will make mistakes. And when you've got a young player in goal or in defence, quite often a mistake means the goal goes in. So they quite often get highlighted a bit more than anyone else further up the pitch. So I do feel sorry for him, but I do think long-term Raya is the best keeper.
Without getting into too much detail, I know your position, Dan, that you say that Raya will ultimately be the number one keeper. He's only a loanee at the moment. Ramsdale is officially on the books. You talk about young players. The whole squad is young players. So, we're average age about 23, 24. So, if any young player makes a mistake, they're all going to make a mistake.
I was further up the pitch, you make a mistake, it's highlighted as much. A player makes a mistake, and more often than not, a midfielder or a defender covers them.
I get that, and I understand that, but I was a little bit disappointed for the fact that he didn't get a game on Sunday at Everton. I thought he deserved at least to get into the PSV game. Look, let's quickly run through the squad. The squad was Raya, White, Saliba, Gabriel, Zinchenko, Rice, Havertz, Odegaard, Saka, Trossard and Jesus. Really, really strong side. Probably the strongest side we had available to us. Dan, we were at the game. I know, Trevor, for various reasons, you couldn't get down for this one. But the performance and the atmosphere before the game was outstanding. We had North London Forever. We had the light show. We had the Champions League song. I'm going to play this video, and then I want you to just surmise, basically, what your thoughts on the game were, and then I'll get it from Trev, and then we'll move on to the North London derby. So, great atmosphere. Nice to see the light show. Great to hear the Champions League music, even if it badly sung by some fans, including myself. It did make me go a bit tingly and everything else. But what did you make of the game, the performance? We had 3 goals. We had Saka with the opener. We had Trossard's goal and Jesus' goal. Or 4 goals,
yeah,
actually.
I mean, you know what, to start with, it'd be interesting to see how you guys feel on this topic. But I heard the Champions League music, and I got a bit tingly and over the moon to have Champions League football back. I think, let's be honest. But I hope we don't get too excited by just hearing the music, because we're not a small club that's pleased to be in the Champions League for the first time ever. Yes, we've had a few years out and it's amazing to be back in it, but we're back where we belong, not just in it for 1 or 2 seasons. So let's get excited if we get through to the latter stages where we should be, and not just the group stage. We're not that lot down the road. We are the Arsenal, and we should be striving for a lot more than just group stage Champions League. But
totally agree. Totally agree.
Genuinely, I thought this was a step up on Wednesday. We've not been bad at all by any sort of stretch of the imagination so far this season, but I feel like we haven't got out of first gear. And that felt to me like we've just stepped up a gear and we've got into second gear. And I think we've got a few more gears to go, but that was probably one of the most fluid performances I've seen so far this season in both boxes, defending well when we had to, clinical when we got into the final third. And great to see players like Trossard scoring and building confidence ahead of the weekend with Martinelli out. Great to see Jesus getting another goal as well, because if he adds goals to his game, he's going to be on another level for us up top. And yeah, Ødegaard, just magician in midfield. I thought Havertz had a great game again. I think a lot of what Havertz did was actually off the ball defensively. That was the best part of his game, which is not what you'd normally expect of him. But I think he's starting to adapt to that role. And yeah, he does a lot more than just the typical sort of striker or 10 role. He does a lot of the dirty work and it goes unnoticed. So I think it's about time people started to notice what he does do for the team.
Trevor, that's a good point. Havertz, and your opinion on the game and the goals as well. But Havertz seemed to adapt more of the sort of Xhaka type role that he was brought in to do, which is an element of defensiveness and an element of physicality, and also providing some opportunities for goals.
Yeah, I didn't think he had a bad game at all. But overall, when the side was announced, we just said it was the strongest we could put out. And a lot of people are going to get excited by the Champions League music because, you know, a lot of our younger fans were only 10 years old when we last played it, and now they'll be 17. So a lot of them will be just getting into it, you know. I mean, I'm just as excited about this as I'm about every other Arsenal game this season. I thought that every player on the field.
He's hit the button, hasn't he? He just killed himself. Donna's pulled the plug out and gone, "You're not ruining my Friday night talking about bloody Arsenal. You got all weekend doing it."
Sorry,
no,
I leant forward and leant on my bloody mouse, and then everything went bloody dead. But
I know Fergus said he was going to get rid of him at the start, but I didn't think he'd actually do
it. Did you do that, Fergus?
It's happening.
It's
happening. I did nothing.
It's always Fergus' fault, isn't it, Fer?
So go on, finish on. You were talking about the PSV game because we're already nearly run out of our time on this slide. Go on.
Yeah, we I thought we played excellently against PSV. Some people said PSV were weak, maybe hadn't prepared for us right. I would throw that back and say, well, we got beaten by PSV last season, so they're not that bad a side. They hadn't lost a game in 21 matches, and they were totally schooled. Just before we move on, I watched Arteta's press conference this morning, Ferg, Dan, and I think I heard the most stupid question I've ever heard asked. And I think it was the lady from Sky. She said, Mikel, how does Ramsdale feel about being dropped then? Because when the camera pans to him on Sunday at Everton, he didn't look very happy. And I thought, give the man a break. What's he meant to do? Be jumping from the ceiling, celebrating, eh? Ramsdale was sat there, as substitutes do, watching a game of football. They've got to leave it alone. They're looking for little things to dig in here, and hopefully we'll all come together at the Arsenal and leave them behind. But I thought that was possibly the most stupid question I've ever heard asked on a press conference. But we were brilliant against PSV. Bring on Lons. Let's all get over there and have a party, and let's progress in this wonderful competition that we're overdue to win.
I'd love us to win it. It was just a shame we didn't win the competition we could have won very easily, which is easier. The Europa League. It would have been nice to have the European trophy. My highlights from it were Saka getting the earliest and quickest debut goal of any Premier League player. He got it in 8 minutes. I thought the effect that Jesus had on the game was unreal and showed the difference, and not digging out Eddie, but showed the difference of how Jesus works with the team and a different style of player than Eddie. He went back and made that goal. That was it Trossard's goal that he went back to the centre circle and broke the ball back. I thought Havertz had a touch it. I was saying to you, Dan, did Havertz touch it? Did he? But he didn't. He was screaming for the ball. And Odegaard getting a song and getting a goal and hearing the song ringing around the stadium. On the song thing, and then we'll move on to the Northumberland Derby. Remember, if you do want to join and talk to us about the Northumberland Derby, we're going to be talking about it in a couple of minutes' time. Go to gunsandyellowribbons.com, click on join the show, or just click on gunsandyellowribbons.com/show. That will put you into the green room behind, and we can chat to you and see what your expectations are. But a couple of things that I thought were great was the way when we were walking back, it was deluge of rain, soaked, absolutely drenched, and we're walking across the bridge back towards my car, and you could just hear people going, do, do, do. You could honestly, you needed a second wheelbarrow for your head because you were so proud. I'm not saying arrogant, but so proud that this time last week, literally this time last week, you were sitting there watching something and you went, guys, in the WhatsApp group, I'm thinking this should be a good song. And you've done that little TikTok thing. 9:00 tomorrow morning, it will be a week since the public ever heard that song. It's already on Arsenal.com in their announcement of Odegaard's contract. Odegaard has commented on it. He's been said it was just wonderful to finally hear his name and his song being sung. He's responded to it. It's been in the press. Okay, Give Me Sport and various different things. Dan, again, well done for the efforts that you do in Block 5, but also well done for doing that. And just, you know what I like about it, and I'm not going to blow your ego any further than this because I don't need to. Definitely don't need to. What I like about it, it's a different song. It's not just somebody else's song churned out again. It's just something different. And I've played it to other teams, fans, and they've gone, oh, yeah, that's quite cool. So well done, mate. Well done.
Yeah, well done. Don't go on about
it. Listen, boys, before we move on, can I, because I watched it on the telly, as we just said, right? But there was just one, I don't know, I'm asking because I don't know if you boys saw it in the stadium. Saliba turned with the ball once in that game, and it was the most. He sent about 4 of their players for a taxi, just turned on us, and that's. I thought to myself, that skill that takes some doing, and that's our centre half. They're your donkeys, the centre halves. They don't normally do that, and it was a wonderful piece of skill. It took. I actually stood up in my living room and applauded it, which meant that the dog jumped up and bit me because she don't like me shouting at the telly when we're there. But it was wonderful. And lastly, to see Smith Rowe come back on was fantastic. Yes. And actually play quite well. He didn't look out of place. But to finish off, before we move on to the North London Derby, I agree with every word Fergus said. You drove me bloody mad with that song, the Arcles, at the weekend. I think we spent 4 hours in there, and I spent 3 hours and 58 minutes listening to that song, right? But it paid off. And I think you've done a brilliant job. And long may it last, and long may Odegaard hear that song, eh?
Tonight, Dan, me and the wife met up. She'd been out doing some bits of it. I've been at work and stuff, and I came back in, and I said, all right, sweetheart, yeah. I said, you know what? I've been dreaming all day. Have you? I said, yeah. For our number 8. She said, you what? Yeah, Martin Odegaard. She said, you what? Oi. I left her go upstairs. She's in the lounge and everything else. And I'm going, when he's on the ball, he's fucking magical. Martin Odegaard.
I feel like I want no involvement in anything that goes on with your relationship, Fergus. I think if you continue that way, you may not have one, mate.
You might be right.
Although, by the way, Arnie's comment in the chat when he said about I need to make a song about Fergus. I mean, me and Trevor have got many songs about Fergus. I just don't.
Yeah, they're not allowed out, Arnie. No.
Can't bring them out, Arnie. They're not very good.
No. Yeah, but we do have a lot. When you come over for Burnley, we'll get you singing a few about Fergus. Don't worry.
Be Jesus said, Paddy, I sang it so well.
Oh, no, that's
right. Listen. Right. We're going to the North London Derby. The closer we get to this point, I was quite cocky and confident when we spoke on Monday, going, it'll be nervy 2-1. And I know some of the guys came along, gave bigger score lines, and I do think we are the better side. I do think that I do think we are capable of winning this game and winning this game convincingly. But as the hours and minutes and everything else tick along to get closer to the derby, you just get more nervous, Trev. You said it to us. You just get, it scares you, this game.
I'm terrible now. Fergus, and I've still got 2 days to go. Let me tell you something. If you have a full night's sleep between now and that game, and if you don't go to the toilet at least 6 times on the morning of that game, you have to ask yourself a question: am I really an Arsenal fan? Right? Because this is the game, not for me, right? Not for football purposes, because let's be frank, right? Tottenham are not as good a side as Arsenal. We should beat them easy, and we should be able to move on. Not for that. This is about more. This is about life. This game, right? This is about being able to go to work next week and hold your head up high. It's about not having to hide behind your desk, but going hunting people down. You know what I mean? Wearing an Arsenal shirt all week. It really is life. It's life. It's living and breathing this football game. I've had it all my life. All my memories of this game are just of nerves and mostly wins, thankfully. Mostly wins. A couple of horrible defeats, but not many. Because, as I say, we're a much better side. I can't wait for it, Ferg. I'll be at your house at 6:30 Sunday morning, Ferg.
It won't surprise me. I won't be up yet, but we're leaving. I think 9:15 is when we're leaving. We're going to be at Finsbury Park for about 10, and we've got an agenda of where we're going and a few beers. But the most important thing is we're going to be in the stadium just after 12:30. 1:45, I'd say, would be the safe time. I don't know if there's cheap beers. I don't really care if there's cheap beers. We've got a job to do, and the job to do is make the roof lift off that place. Dan, how loud are we going to get it? Are you going to shout, "It's fucking Champions League"?
Yeah, I sort of regret shouting that now because my voice is struggling from shouting on Wednesday. I think that was a bit too screechy. I might have to just tone that down. But no, I'm absolutely planning to bring the biggest energy I've ever had to any other game ever in my life. And it's for the biggest game of our lives every single year, the game that matters, the game that gives us bragging rights. And let's be honest, I don't care how we play or what we do as long as we don't lose that game. That's the first step, is don't lose it. And if we win it, it's just another level of how it feels. People don't understand how that game makes you feel, and the nerves come and go constantly. And I think exactly as you guys said, even like last night, couldn't sleep. Not for the same reason maybe as everyone else about nerves. I'm thinking about the game and I've got songs going in my head and I'm thinking I just want to get there now. And then when you do get there, the excitement comes, but then the nerves come, and then you're in the game, and just every moment it just has that elevation of feeling. There's a throw in, there's a tackle, there's something, and just the crowd are on it. And I can't explain the way it makes you feel, but it's nerves, but it's nerves in a good way, and that's because of how good we are. Let's be honest. I don't think we're the better side. I know we're the better side. We're a better side. We're a better club. We're a better fan base. We've got better history. Every single thing about our club is better than their club. Our badge is better than their little chicken on a beach ball club badge. There isn't a single thing about them that's better than us. Even their crappy new stadium looks like a toilet bowl. I don't care what they say. we are the better club by a country mile. But yeah, a derby is a derby, and anything can happen in a derby. But at home, our record is fantastic. I think that we've lost once in 30 years, is it? I think at home in the league.
They've won only 2 in 31 games visiting us in the Premier League, drawing 11 and losing 18. Martinelli is being assessed for a hamstring after he came off at the Everton game. Partey remains out. Timber as long term, as we know. Spurs, really, the only one they're missing is Pulisic. We have got a few people in the green room. If you do want to join us, go to gunsandyellowribbons.com/show, or just go to the website and click on join the show. First one all the way from Sonnenberg in Denmark, Danish Gooner's dad, Gary. Gary, how are you doing? You all right?
I'm fine, thanks. Fine, yeah.
Yeah. Looking forward to Sunday?
Yeah, very much so, yeah. I think I'm more worried about the kids coming over from Denmark, to be honest.
Yeah, I've got some of them here, haven't I? So they'll be all right. Trust it. Look, it's me and Trev. What can go wrong? What can go wrong?
Well, just as long as you don't sit on them like you've done with it on the mouse, Trev, then I'm not worried at all.
Don't be worried about them being in our company. As long as
Good
they're
stuff.
buying beer, we'll be happy.
Good
You
stuff.
know,
Good stuff.
but we're all nervous. I mean, I'm actually doing this podcast sat on a commode I borrowed off me nan today. I am. I'm not nervous about it. I'm in and out all the time. So I'm going to come to the game in a tenner for men, me, just in case I can't stop. But it's
Nothing new there.
how long? When was your first derby then, Gary? What's your memory of the North London derbies then, mate?
Well, it would have been the early 80s when I started coming over. And I just remember queuing up for ages, just like it was like sardines, to be honest, going through the Highbury and just trying to get down. And yeah, I think we scored a couple of goals and then got pushed about 6 or 7 rows down and then back again.
That sounds about right.
Gary, this is Arsenal looking to do 3 consecutive league games against them. So, you know, we beat them at ours. Was it 3-1 the last time we went to White Hart Lane, and we convincingly beat them at White Hart Lane.
Sorry, you pronounced that wrong. That's Shite Hart Lane, Ferg.
Yeah, that is. Yeah. But I'm polite.
Don't be polite. Not with Vernon.
How confident are you of us getting a victory on Sunday?
I think we're in a really good place at the moment. I think the team's progressing really well, and I love Martinelli, but what Trossard has given the team, he's just unbelievable. The way he crosses the ball when he gets into these positions, he just gives a different dynamic to the team. So I love Martinelli to death, but it's not a bad thing when Trossard gets into the team either. So
if you were to choose between Martinelli and Trossard, who would you start? Excluding like fitness issues, who would you start?
I mean, they give 2 different things, to be honest. At the moment and the way things going, I prefer to have Trossard in the team because he interacts with other players and he brings so much of the game closer in the middle as well. He makes all the other players look brilliant.
It's interesting that, Dan, because we talked about that with Potsy on Wednesday night about how much he had an impact on play, and we saw it against Everton when Martinelli came off, and Potsy was saying, you know, he was waxing lyrical about Trossard. Given a choice, who would you have on and why?
Oh God. I would always pick Martinelli because I think he's just a different level of talent. But listen, Trossard, he's not a bad understudy and he could play in many different positions. He's fantastic. He's a very different player to Martinelli. Martinelli is he's an out-and-out winger. He's very direct in his running. He's an attacking threat in behind non-stop. Trossard is more of a creator. You know, he can go both sides. He's like a Cazorla on the wing. That's the best way I think I could describe him. In probably one of the best sort of compliments you can give a player is to compare him to someone like Cazorla. But he's got that about him, and he's not a bad understudy. He can play anywhere across the front line, but I think he's better out wide. So his chance when Martinelli's not there, I think, is just another level to show what he can do.
Yeah.
Gary, final question from you. They're all talking about Ange Ball and how the impact of Postecoglou on the Tottenham squad. For me, I think they're actually kicking the ball around and far more a bit more attractive to watch than they were under Conte and Mourinho. But they're having the best league start in 58 years. The media over here, I don't know how much you listen to it over in Denmark, but the media over here are having a love-in fest with Tottenham. Do you see them that they have improved that much and that they've improved as much as the Arsenal side have in the last 3-4 years under Arteta?
Well, a lot of the stuff Tottenham's going through is a lot of the stuff that Arsenal went through in the start as well. They're trying to change their culture. They're trying to make things more about the team. They're trying to make more rapport with their fans as well. It's just not going as quickly as Arsenal's culture. Because we've got the culture to start off with, to be honest. Our fan base is better as well. So they're always going to be behind. But I think the way that he's playing with the team at the moment, a lot of it is more about the team compared to what it was about one man in the team. So I really thought that they'd do really badly when Kane went, but he's done an amazing job to make them play more as a team and more of an attacking team as well. Because the Conte way that they're playing with the boring contra back and forth, it was so boring to see. But I think we're going to get anyway.
Finally, give me a score prediction then, Gary.
3-1 to the Arsenal.
Well,
we always give away too many games at home, unfortunately.
Yeah. Say love to Bettina and everybody over there, and I will see you when you're over again next time, and we'll take good care of Alex. he won't drink that much, honestly.
Yeah, the Irish way. All the best.
See you, mate.
Take it easy.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye. Lovely.
Right,
Gary was a great.
Is that enough
What's
on
that?
Tottenham? Can we not talk about it?
It is.
It's boring.
I don't know. Let's ask Theo. What does Theo think? Theo, somebody told me that you were playing Subbuteo, and you gave the whole Arsenal team, look at him, bang, down. So you were playing out the Arsenal squad to all their individual songs. Go on, talk to me about that then for a second before we get into the Tottenham game.
I don't even know what was happening. I was just using my dad's old Arsenal Subbuteo players for it.
And what song were you singing?
I don't know.
Yeah, you do. Go on, do it. He won't do it because he's embarrassed now. I think it's a song that a certain Dan Capo made up, and he's been singing the fifth line really, really well.
Hopefully, you've been singing the clean version in front of your mum.
Yeah, all the time, mate, all the time.
Theo, yourself and your dad aren't getting down for this game, but you are coming down for a game soon, so we will see you with your flag and your hat and everything else on Block 5. I'll ask your opinion first, because your opinion is the young and new and the interesting opinion rather than your dad's. I just hear it all the time. What are you thinking? Like, as a young chap, we've all got our opinions and preconceived ideas what a North London derby is. You're starting to grow in to be a little Arsenal fan now. You're getting in with us in the North Bank, and you're getting the little tingle inside. How are you feeling about this North London derby, and what does it feel like for you on Sunday? I know you've got other stuff to do Sunday, and you're trying to cram this game in. So, don't worry about your mum's birthday. But how does it feel a North London derby now?
It feels like it's. I don't know.
Are you nervous about it?
No.
No? Why do you think we'll beat them?
Yeah, easy.
Easy. There you go. And that's what do you? And what do you think? Does what do you think the score will be?
2-1.
2-1. Easy. Yeah. I think so. I think he's right. I mean, he's like we've always been saying, like, he's playing football. He finishes at 12:30, straight from there, straight to the pub. We're not even going to go home. We're just going to go straight to the pub from football and watch it.
Brilliant. Dan, you're going to ask some questions of Andrew and Theo.
I was going to say, what's the first game that you remember of an Arsenal Tottenham game, Theo? Is it that many years ago, or is it quite recent that you've sort of, I guess, not heard about, but sort of been more aware of the derby and the rivalry?
Well, I hope it's quite recent, Dan. Otherwise, he don't look his age.
Well, no, I'm thinking, is it just at what age do you really become aware of the derby? Because I'm trying to think back to when I was younger, and I remember seeing it when I think I was about 5 or 6, and I just remember, I can't remember the exact game now, but there was a late winner at home, and I'm sure it was a Tony Adams goal that scored a late winner or something, and then we beat Spurs, and I just remember me family celebrating, and it just stuck with me. The celebration is a different type of celebration. So yeah, I just wondered if you, I don't know, have you watched your dad when you were young running around the front room, or any stories you need to tell us of your dad?
Yeah, I remember after the Leicester game, and then the weekend after, or midweek, when we played Tottenham, I think we went to a pub or somewhere.
Yeah, we did, yeah.
And then watching game on his phone, and then as I took a mouthful of my drink, we scored, and he chucked me up, and yeah.
Just in the middle of a pub somewhere, a nice secluded pub in the middle of Yorkshire. We were watching it on my phone, trying to get a signal, and we scored. And I literally just grabbed hold of him and nearly pulled him across the table. And I think that's a memory for you.
Yeah,
Trev.
Yeah, it's lovely being young and having these great memories of the North London derby. Do you know what, Theo? When I was about your age, a little bit older, I used to live in North London, right? So when Arsenal were playing away at Tottenham, the entrance to the Arsenal area at YR Lane used to have to go in on the corner of Park Lane, and you'd all crowd in there, and Tottenham fans would throw things at you like they do, you know. But I learned, you know what I did? I used to go around the back and pay to go in the Tottenham side of the ground, around the back, right? And then I'd walk up to the fence. I'd say to the policeman, "Hey, sorry, I've got in the wrong side. Can you let me through?" And he'd say, "Yeah, come on." And then he'd let me through into the Arsenal fans. And that saved me having to queue. That saved me having to queue for hours to get in the Park Lane.
That was in black and white, Theo. You know, when they had, like, you know, they didn't even have television back then. So it was a long,
you know what,
long,
Theo?
long
There was only 3 television channels in them days. That's how long ago it was, mate. So anyway,
Theo, Father Christmas didn't have a beard or anything by then. You know, he didn't wear an Arsenal shirt or anything. You know.
Don't make me put you down, folks. Now, don't make me put you down.
Listen, question for you guys.
I've got a question first. What's the matter with you?
You had your question. Go on then. I've got one after you. Hurry up. Go on. No. Go. Always got this.
I was just going to ask Theo, right? If you could choose one player to score for the Arsenal first on Sunday against Tottenham, who would you want to score?
Declan Rice.
Yeah, good call. Good call. Do you know who I'd like? I'd like to see Havertz score, Theo, just so he gets himself on the score sheet. But Rice is a great goal. Can you imagine the celebration, Theo, if Rice scores a goal? The roof will come off that Emirates.
Oh, yeah.
Watch out, because your dad will shut you around the room again.
Yeah, the roof will come off our ass and all.
Yeah. Question for you two guys, and then I'll get you prediction. Well, I got Theo's prediction. Question for you guys. Arteta has kept 4 clean sheets in the last 27 games in home matches. Clean sheets seem to be an issue for us. There's the big debate about goalkeeping. I'm not asking you to say who you prefer as a goalkeeper, but who do you think will be in goal on Sunday? And
who cares?
Yeah, exactly. I know, Trev. It's just one of my points I've got down here. I'm trying to find a relevant question. Sorry, it's just a domestic. Give us a couple of minutes.
Give up with him. Go on. Well, you got to ask a question now, the poor lad, haven't you?
I have asked. I've asked both of them. What do you think, Andrew, and then Theo?
Ray, I think Ray will be in goal. I think you've had 2 clean sheets. All right, it's not had much to do, but how can you drop him after 2 clean sheets? I do think it's a shame on Ramsdale not to be there, but he knows what he's doing, doesn't he? And who are we to argue against Arteta? You know, and it's like I still stick by, you know, if this works and we go off and win 2-3 trophies this year, next year everyone will be jumping on the bandwagon trying to get 2 number 1s. But it's you can't drop him. I think Ray will be in goal.
Okay, and to you, Theo, Saka's been involved in 18 goals in the last 18 Premier League games, and 12 assists. Can you see Saka getting a goal on Sunday?
Yeah, because I think he'll get a goal or 2 maybe, because the way he's been playing at the moment, getting his goals and helping out the team and getting assists as well is helping out us and then leading us to win games and whatnot.
Yeah. Do you know what,
right,
Ferg? You've actually asked a good question for once there. You really have, mate. Because it's an interesting point, isn't it, boys? Because we've got Odegaard, Jesus, Martinelli, you know, Saka, who are all going to score a few goals this season, aren't they? If it's anything like last season, we could go really well. But big question now, Theo. Last question from me, Theo. Who's going to score the most goals for Arsenal this season, mate? I'll tell you who I think first. I think it'll be Saka.
Go on.
I think it'll be Saka, but then I also think that Martinelli will come up close behind him because of the way that last season Martinelli was scoring goals and whatnot.
Yeah, good score.
We had Theo's prediction of 2-1. Andrew, what's your prediction then of for tonight?
I'm going 2-1. I'm going 2-1. I think we'll score first. I think they'll peg us back and then we'll go again. I'd love us to keep a clean sheet and do it so a bit like it was when we do. I mean, let's put it this way: they're not going to get a cheeky penalty off Kane this year, are they? Because he's not there to dive all over the place. But like last year. So I think we'll be 2-1. Be good.
All right. Brilliant. Well, listen, enjoy the game. Say a happy birthday to your mum for us on Sunday, so that she's going to have a birthday present, which is 3 points from the Arsenal. Daddy will be happy. Theo will be happy. And subsequently, she'll be happy. So it's a win-win. It's a win-win situation for her.
I told her she could come down to London with us and have a shopping spree, but she wasn't interested. But I tried everything,
mate. You might as well have just come down and stayed here. Everybody else is. So, listen, take it easy, guys.
Cheers,
you have
boys.
a good evening. Enjoy your weekend.
Cheers,
See you
boys.
later.
See you later. Take care.
Right. Really interesting that, and it's really nice just to see a young person and see their point of view of how they're feeling about leading up to a game and how they view it, rather than us guys who've pickled our brains doing this and everything else. Right, we've got Lawrence and we've got Lyle in the studio. We'll bring on Lawrence.
Are you going to ask some questions on this one though? Because I do agree with Trev. Who's in goal for the North London derby?
I'll ask Lawrence a question. Lawrence, so far, what do you think of the questions I've asked? Were they good, bad, or indifferent?
Rubbish.
Good. Topical questions.
There we go.
I think
Fergus bringing his mates on.
Lawrence, are you at a party or something, mate?
I'm sorry?
Are you at a party?
No, I'm having breakfast. I'm at a deli in Santa Monica having a late breakfast.
Oh, right, okay. Just can hear people talking and I thought, he's at a party. I'm forgetting where you are.
No, he's just in the calf by the looks of it. Lawrence, Arsenal could be. Arteta is the second manager to reach 4 home North London derbies, emulating Terry Neal in 77 and 1980. How have you been impressed with Arteta and how he's developed this team? You saw him on how this team performed on Wednesday night against PSV. They look like they're not 100% yet, but they looked at 90% and cooking on gas. You got to like what you're seeing, especially going into this big game, the North London derby.
Definitely. I thought it was a faultless performance the other night. I mean, we scored 4 goals. We could have had more. Everyone in that team got 10 out of 10 from it. I thought we looked very solid. And we're coming up to a period where we've got Tottenham on at the weekend. And then we've got Man City and Chelsea coming up in the next few weeks as well. So it's all looking good. And I've been impressed by what Arteta's done.
And who's impressing you the most? We've had some signings in the summer. We've had Raya, we've had Timber, unfortunately injured. We've had Havertz, and we've had Declan Rice. How have you felt about those, and how do you think Havertz and Rice in particular, because we've done the keeper sort of thing to death to a certain degree, how do you think Havertz and Rice, if they start, can influence this game, especially being the temperature the game gets?
Rice has been outstanding ever since he joined us. I mean, I liked him when he played for West Ham, and since he's come to us, he's been 100%. Everyone loves him at the club. He always gives 100%, and I can see him as a future captain of the team.
Many West. Go on. Sorry, carry on.
Sorry. I'm just saying. I thought Havertz played well. I had my doubts about him when we signed him, but he looked so confident the other night. He was laying the ball off. He was creating things. I mean, the only thing that's missing from his game is goals. And I'm sure when he gets one, his confidence will come back, and he'll be an asset to the team.
Agreed. Dan, did you have any questions?
I'm interested in. I know we've asked this already a little bit, but how confident are you going into the derby? And the reason I ask this is I feel quite confident going into it. And I think, for example, Theo that was just on is quite confident too. And I'm wondering if it's just maybe like an experience thing, the guys like you that have maybe seen more derbies that maybe get a bit more nervous. So I just wondered how you feel about the derby.
I'm feeling confident. I mean, after what I saw on Wednesday, I can see us doing another 4-0 job on them.
Wow.
Because you just got to look at who they've played. I mean, they've played Bournemouth and Burnley and Brentford, and it took them like 120 minutes to beat Sheffield United. So they haven't really played anyone as of yet. And I think if we can get at them from the start, we're going to cause them some problems.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that because I also had the same opinion. Like, I know they've had a few wins in a row, but I look at their squad and I actually still think that their squad overall lacks a lot of quality. And I don't think they're anywhere near what we are. And I think if we get into even third or fourth gear, let alone top gear, I think we'd brush them aside. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, I think Martin Odegaard, or as I call him, the Norwegian Liam Brady, I think he's going to boss the midfield on Sunday.
Do you know what? Lawrence? You're right. What you said about the game against PSV. If you could choose a performance to lead you into a North London derby, you'd choose that, wouldn't you? Because we did it in a weak spot, and it fills you with confidence going into this game. It's a funny game, and like Dan's right in what he says. You get nervous. You know in your head, you're thinking we can win this comfortably. But you get nervous and you get all these sorts of worries about this could happen, that could happen. So how do you think we're going to? You mentioned it briefly just now, Lawrence, but it was interesting. How do you think we're going to approach the game from the kickoff? Are we going to go all out like we have been doing and play our normal pressing game up front?
Yeah, I think the confidence in the dressing room must be sky high after that win on Wednesday. I mean, PSV are a good team. Let's not kid ourselves. I mean, we just caught them on a bad night, but they are a good side in Holland, and I just don't see how Tottenham can hurt us if we could go at them from the start. Yeah. We can play our pressing game from the beginning. I think they're in for a long afternoon.
Yeah, I mean, last season, if my memory serves me right, we scored some early goals and put the game to bed early, didn't we? At our place, we really shot out. We shot out the starting blocks really quick, and I'm hoping we do that again, mate. I absolutely agree with you, Lawrence, mate. So, how many are we going to win by, mate?
Yeah, so I think it's going to be another 4-0.
Really? Wow, I hope you're right, mate. I hope you're right.
After what I saw on Wednesday, I don't see how Tottenham can match us.
Yeah. Right, last question from me then, Lawrence. What are you having for breakfast, mate? Eggs and bacon?
Yeah, I've just had it. I've had bacon and eggs with home fried potatoes and a bagel and cream cheese on the side.
Oh, beautiful. Proper American.
I don't like American bacon, Lawrence. I don't like American bacon at all.
I would have saved some for you, but I had it all before I came on.
You enjoy. Mate, thank you as always for joining. We always you're a regular that comes on our phone-ins. Hope you enjoy the game tomorrow. What time of the night or morning or whatever is it when you're going to be watching it?
6 o'clock Sunday morning.
Okay. Are you doing an all-nighter or are you going to wake up early?
Yeah, I mean, to me, the North London derby, the night before is like Christmas Eve. I just can't sleep. I'm going to be up all night and I'll be watching it live 6 o'clock on Sunday morning.
Well, you enjoy it. We won't remember any of you, but we'll feel probably like you by the time the game starts because Trevor's buying beers. So, it's a rare occasion. It's North London derby. As you say, it's like Christmas Eve for us. It's Christmas Eve, New Year's Day, and our birthdays all roll into one. Trevor buys beers. Thanks very much. We got a few people lined up, mate. So take it easy. Enjoy your day.
Thanks
See
for
you later.
having me on.
Cheers.
See ya.
Bye. Next, we have a good friend of ours, a lovely flag in the background. Flag contest now. We have a flag contest. Lyle, how are you? Lyle, turn your landscape, and then we can get a better view of your flag.
Hang on,
There we go.
Hang on. If I go like this, it's better, isn't it?
Yeah. Beautiful.
What people don't know is how big that flag is, because that is a big old flag.
I might bring it on Sunday. The only problem is if I have too many beers, I'll forget it, won't I? So I just got to make sure it comes home with me.
Yeah.
You just need pockets like what Ginger does. You know what I mean? So
I think
he's abusive already, isn't he?
The bigger pockets than what Ginger's got.
Yeah, that's true. See, like this, both of us going Ginger. Listen, we have to call him Ginger now because we can't call him anything else. He's too famous, isn't he? So, we have to keep him grounded. You've done a few of these.
I've got to say, Lyle, I hope you don't have a little slip out the side of your shorts, mate, because that's a very dodgy angle, that, mate.
I'm sorry, boys. I'm trying. I'm here on the bloody camera, innit, on the phone. So I'm trying. There we go.
Yeah. We're hoping to see the Irish side of you, not the Jamaican side of you. Yeah, you know what I mean.
we might just see what Lawrence had for breakfast. That's what I'm thinking.
Listen, you've seen a few of these North London derbies, home and away. I asked the guys earlier about Ange Ball and how Tottenham and the media are going on about how much they're improving. Calm down for a second, bloody Trev. He puts his arm like this. But where are you? Where are you on this side that we're facing? How much better do you think we are than this side? And where do you see threats from them? Maybe because we have to look at that as well.
Yeah, look, I think in a derby, form can go out the window. I think we always have to remember that it is a one-off game and strange things do happen. But I do agree with everyone else which has come on tonight. I think we haven't got too much to fear as long as we play our brand of football and we focus on doing the things that we do well. I think the media is really blowing up this Ange Ball, and I think we will know they implode. It's what Tottenham does. They've been good, though. They have been good. We do have to, reluctantly give them some credit. I think you look at signings he's made, he's getting a tune out of players like Maddison. Son looks like he's a different player as well. So I think they do have threats all over the park. But if we play our football, Fergus, we'll be absolutely fine.
Yeah. Trev, questions?
What time are you going to the pub, Lyle?
Whatever time opening time is, I think, mate. So 10 o'clock, same as you.
Be there then. I hope my missus ain't watching this. Yeah. We'll be there, mate. We'll be there. But Lyle, what's your memories of the North London derby? When was your first one you went to, mate? Can you remember?
Yeah, I think it was early 2000s at Highbury, to be honest with you. Maybe around 02, 03. The one which, there's been some good ones in the year over the years. I remember do you remember the semi-final of the FA Cup, Villa Park? That was one of the earlier ones for me. That would have been 2000, Trev, around there, 2001, circa that period of time. I remember, was it 2001, Rocastle passing, minute silence at Highbury. Obviously, that was crazy, but they actually used to be quite tight games in the 2000s, in the early to mid 2000s, to be honest, when I started watching them. Do you know what I mean? Do you remember, it'd always be sort of 1-0, 2-1 sort of thing. And I even remember, when we were up there, we were cruising at the lane, a couple of goals up, they brought it back. So they used to be sort of quite cagey affairs. We'd always come out on top. It's only in recent years we seem to be putting 3-4 past them at home. Do you know what I mean? It's really, really remarkable.
Yeah.
You know what you say that. Here I've got another stat. Arsenal have scored 24 successive home London derbies in the Premier League. The last goalless draw was 1998. So there's always been goals in this game. Always goals, Lyle.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I mean, even, remember derbies at the Emirates, sort of the early 2010s when, there's a couple of ones with 5-2s where, they've gone, 2-0 up and we've brought it back to 5-2. Do you know what I mean? We've had some crackers against them over the years.
For sure. Well, first of all, you're doing the Gunners, and then we're across the road, so you know where we are. Are you doing posh breakfast or proper breakfast with the lads?
No. I'll be in my. I'm going to have to go to I'm going to go to my local Greasy Spoon tomorrow and say to the owner, look, I know it's a Sunday, but I need to make sure you are open at 8 a.m., 8:30 sort of thing. There's no 9:30 open on Sunday. No, honestly, I can't explain how big it is. Do you know what I mean? I don't live too far from the ground. I work, in Old Street, so not far from the Emirates. Honestly, the build-up this week in London has just been immense. Everyone's been talking about it at work. All my friends, the family. This is the game. Not like Trev said earlier. It's not for footballing reasons, because let's be honest with you, it's not being a competition. But this is local bragging rights, and let's be honest with you, we just want to put them back in their place.
Final question for you before I ask you to predict what you think of the scoreline. What do you think of these?
What do you think of Tottenham?
What do you think of beer snakes?
Look, it's all a bit of good-natured fun. I'm all right. I don't mind it. It's all a bit of a laugh, as long as people are enjoying themselves and no one gets hurt. I mean, look, keep calm and have fun.
That was a little bit of tongue in cheek.
Block 5, because you will get hurt if you start building around block 5. Don't you put them in my circle? I don't want to be a tower.
The block 5 police have told us it's no beer snakes in block 5 then.
Yeah, hey, listen, it could be worse. The song police are the ones you got to worry about. Song police are the ones you got to worry about.
Don't worry, they'll be out. I'm sure they'll be out on force on Sunday.
They will do. Some old school songs coming out. What's your favourite old school song? You remember, it's a public gallery that we're on as well.
I do love the Hawk Now We're the Arsenal sing, the Tottenham ran away, and we will fight forever because of Boxing Day.
Oi, oi.
They moved the derby to Boxing Day, thinking it would make it less aggro. Oh my God, Lyle! It was a war field.
I'm sure. I've heard the stories. Yeah. My old man told me some of the stories back in the day, Arsenal, Tottenham, Jeepers.
Yeah, I was had the pleasure of meeting your old man for his, was it his birthday when we met a couple of weeks back?
Yeah, his birthday. He's got some cracker stories as well, especially he said the FA Cup finals at Wembley. I saw FA Cup semi-final against them at Wembley was just a riot back in the day, but that's for another time.
Yeah. Listen, next time your dad's down, we must sit down and have a quiet beer, actually, and have a chat and hear some of those stories. That'd be really good. Before you go, can you give me your score prediction? And then we got Albert coming up next.
Yeah, I think we're going to do them 3-0 on Sunday. I'm confident about that. But I think we've got to do what we've done in recent derbies in the last 2 seasons. We have to score in the first 10, 15 minutes, get the crowd absolutely at fever pitch, and then we are going to steamroll them. And then it will be allays. Tottenham get battered, Martin Odegaard, oi for 60 minutes.
Brilliant. Mate, I do hope oi and battered and any other fish and any other songs that can be slung at them are used. I'm confident. Get more nervous the closer we get to it, but confident still. Thank you, Lyle. I'll see you on Sunday.
Well done, lad. Well done, Dan. Great work with the song.
Make sure we sing it loud and proud.
We're loud and proud. Well done, everyone. Have a good one.
If you want an autograph, remember you got to come through me. Yeah.
Well, yeah. The check's coming in the post, Ferg. Don't worry. I've got it going via pigeon. Yeah, should be in Essex sometime next week.
Yeah, I know the rest of that phrase. See you later, mate. The Arsenal. Listen, last we have got Albert and we got Demsek. There is one slot left for the next couple of minutes if somebody wants to jump in. If not, we're going to shut down the link. But we're going to bring Albert from Albert JTV in. Albert, how are you doing? Coach, you're looking very, very sophisticated with the old glasses on there.
I do try. The StreamYard's added a few more features, so I look a little bit younger, lads, today.
Listen, you're the oldest man I ever knew. You're nearly as old as me, and you still look like you look like prepubescent.
Well, Fergus, there's a saying. I'm not sure because the black doesn't crack. No.
No, it doesn't. and you define that, mate.
I do try, Ferg. I do try. I thought let me come and see you guys because unfortunately Sunday is looking. I'm defeated. I think I'll be watching at home, but we'll see. We'll see.
I was going to ask, did you have any joy? But nothing,
Ferg. Nothing, mate. Nothing.
Right. It's a bit of a shame. So, Trev, you go on and see what were you going to say to Albert on this one?
Go on, Trev.
I can't remember. That was more than 5 minutes. How you doing, Albert? Lovely to see you, mate.
Oh, I love you, Trev, man. Good to see you, man.
So I'm gutted you haven't got a ticket, mate. I genuinely am. So where will you watch it then, mate?
I'll be in the luxury of Southeast London. It's a bit safer this week because the Sunday before Mill was at home to Leeds, so I didn't come out the house for a few hours, man, to keep my car parking space. So I'll be at home, mate. I'll be at home watching it.
But I'm sure we'll hear you in the Emirates when we go 3-0 up. Yeah, definitely. So it's hard question to answer this because we've just got a team full of stars. But come on, let's put you on the spot. Who's going to shine? Who's going to score the first goal on the weekend, Albert? Who's going to be our standout?
Oh, I think I did say this. Someone asked a similar question. I think Erdegaard will stand out. He's level, man. Is just he's always been a technically gifted footballer anyway. Despite some opinions of our fan base, but yeah, he's just excelled, man. You just watch him. He's silky. He's class. He's got a good touch. He sees the pass before you actually see it. And you know what I like about him as well, Hillsy and the rest of the guys, is that a simple thing. Like one of the things I said about him is he needs to take more shots on, man. And he's definitely doing that. And hence the reason why he got the amount of goals he scored last season. And a great goal the other night against PSV. Great strike. So I think he'll be the standout, Trev. He'll be the standout.
Yeah. I hope you're right, mate. Actually, he's doing a lot of what Smith Rowe did when he first came into the team. Seems to be finding a yard on the edge of the box and timing his run onto the ball perfectly. He never takes a touch, does he?
No.
He smashes it into the net. You know, it's a great skill to have, and long may he keep on with it. Yeah. So I don't know. I just can't see us. I can't see a weakness in us. So can you see any way we could lose it, Albert?
Albert, I'll add to that. So they lost Harry Kane, and if you look at Tottenham at the moment, they seem to be scoring a lot more goals. I think they score more multiple goals in their opening 5 games of the top season than in just a third of the time since they did from 61, 65, 66. So they're scoring more goals and they're much more high scoring games. Where do you see the threat as a bit what Trevor was coming from? You know, we thought it was gone with Harry going and they were 1-0 down because they don't have him diving and cheating and getting a penalty. So where do you see that threat coming from now?
It's an interesting one. I've been sort of thinking about this game in sort of the back of my mind, not just obviously because it's North London derby, but they're a different Spurs side from the Mourinho and Conte. So it's going to be interesting. Ange has come, you know, even within their own fan base, they was very reticent about him coming there, but he's quickly won them over. But listen, they got some good. They got Basuma's obviously showing a bit more form. They've got, I think, Papissar in the middle, so they're going to be solid in the central areas. It's going to be a good duel between Saka and Udogie at left back. He's looked sharp this season, but I think it depends how Tottenham come at Arsenal. That's what I think it comes down to. I think I know how Arsenal will start the game, and I like to think they're going to start on the front foot and take it to Spurs. I think if Spurs go toe-to-toe with us in terms of how Postecoglou wants to play, as opposed to how we are playing this season, I think we'll pick them off. I do think we'll concede because I just think that's the customary Arsenal thing to do. That needs to tighten up because that's still a concern for me going back to last season. But it depends, Fergus, for me, how they come out. Not about how Arsenal start. We know, listen, it's a North London derby. We've got a fantastic home record. They didn't beat us at the Emirates for 13 years. There's a reason for that. But I'm confident, but I'm not sort of confident in recent years because I think it's a different Spurs side. But I think they'll be better judged, really, to be honest with you, in about 3 months' time as coming into January, as opposed to over 4 games. I think some of their fans need to just settle down a little bit.
Yeah, I think to a certain degree we have to as well because people talk about who have Tottenham played. They've only played Man United, a poor Man United. It took them a long time to overturn like nearly 120 minutes to overturn Sheffield. But in reality, we played only Man United, which is a poor Man United, because we played Fulham, Nottingham Forest, Bournemouth. I think we're playing better football than them. I think you're right in the sense that if Tottenham come at us, I think they'll lose heavily, because I think whilst the midfield is strong and the forward line is quite strong, the keeper's okay and the defensive line is weak.
Ferg, you know what it is. I think because the way we started last season, and you're comparing to what you see in this season, it's different. But the reason why it's different is because Arteta's made he wants a massive emphasis on Arsenal keeping the ball better. And a little bit of our strength in terms of the free flowing attacking football may not be sort of what we've seen in the Premier League games. But even if you look at the other night against PSV, if we can translate that type of football, I get it, European setup and domestic Premier League, it's a bit different. But if Arsenal can implement at least even 20-30% of what we saw the other night, yes, PSV might not be what they were a few seasons ago, but if that comes into the Premier League play, going into sort of the next 3 or 4 games into sort of December, January, this is going to be a very, very exciting team to watch.
It is. Give us your score prediction and then we'll get
I was just going to say, before you jump into that, one, you two are far too logical. It doesn't apply to us. We're the Arsenal. That doesn't apply to our race up.
What done?
Before you give your prediction, if you could choose between a comfortable 3-0 win or 4-0 win even, or a last-minute winner, what would you choose?
Cool. We've been spoiled recently. Last-minute winner, mate.
Last-minute winner?
Yeah.
Over a 5-0 win?
Albert, my old ticker can't take a last-minute win, mate. Jesus. Come on, son. I'm an old man. 4-0 up by half-time, then I retire to the bar.
No, Dad, because it's them. Listen, we see what last-minute winners are like in the Emirates. Could you imagine if we did it to them? The way their fans have been yapping and talking for the last 3 or 4 weeks. It'd be superb. But I hear what Trev is saying, because Trev, you know what? I'm not as young as I used to be, so I like to have my ticker a little bit in take as well. But yeah, Dan, I've said 2-1. I've thought 2-1 for a while, even the last couple of games. Yeah, 2-1's about right. And you know what, Trev, you make a good point. I think Havertz will start. I wouldn't have a problem Vieira him, but I think Havertz will start, and I hope he scores, because that will definitely get him on side with a lot of our fans, man. Trust me.
Absolutely.
Brilliant.
Ferg, listen, I know we're over
well.
right? But
yeah, but we got Dempsey sitting here as well, waiting. So
Albert just raised a really good point, right? And I just want to come back on it because it's interesting. I thought about the way Tottenham might play against us today. You know, I think Postecoglou, although they've had good managers before, I think Postecoglou is probably the most savvy one they've had in a while. Yeah. Knows how to work game by game. But I honestly think if Tottenham try and sit deep against us, right, and let us go at them, I don't think they're good enough to stop our forward players. I think we'll run through them. I really do. The way Odegaard has been finding the yards, you know, and Saka cuts in and finds a space. There's always a space to be found, and I think we're good enough to find it. I don't, you know, however they play.
No, well,
whatever the weather. The weather.
Yeah.
These streets are our own. They are our own. Albert, we will keep an eye out, mate. You're in our WhatsApp groups. If we hear of one or anything, you know, I don't know how much short notice you can go to. Let us know in the WhatsApp.
Yeah, very Fergus, I'll tell you that, very short notice, man. Don't worry about that.
Fine. Okay. So we'll keep an eye out. There is a couple bubbling that I've been keeping an eye for you. So let's wait and see. All right. Take it easy, mate. Thanks again.
Love you. See you soon.
Albert, take care, mate.
Take care. Cheers. Last one.
Cheers, Albert.
That was brilliant. We've got a new person to phone into our podcast.
Hi, guys.
Hello, Demsek.
If I'm looking away because I've got the ladies' England game on in the background.
At least you said England game. I just thought you had the ladies on up there.
No. England ladies are playing Scotland. And it's on in the background. 0-0 at the moment.
All right, mate.
Yep.
You know, I thought, well, I had to have something on while Trev was just gabbing on all over the place, you know. Amazes me he can get to the stadium on time, you know, because his timekeeping's a bit iffy, isn't it? You know?
You know what? You know how I struggle. You now understand where I'm trying to keep it all going here, and he just drops these cannonballs and grenades in everywhere.
Trev, I can't but think there's his age.
All Fergus done tonight is he's bring his mates on to try and back him up because he just knows that he'll be good for the party.
Don't worry. Listen, mate, this old skin's that thick, my skin. I can take water off the duck's back, mate. Anyway, talk about the game.
Where's the money, guys? You told me to do that. Where's the money? Oops, sorry.
I knew there was a reason Fergus he did that.
We're in the North London Derby. We've strengthened in the summer by adding some really good players. Tottenham have added a really good player in James Maddison. I think him and Ward-Prowse were probably the two best. Two outside of what us getting Rice, but like for the money that it was, there were probably two great signings for West Ham and Tottenham. Maddison has been involved in 19 of his last 20 goals in his last 21 Premier League away appearances, with 10 goals and 9 assists. The guy is a bit tasty. He's a bit good. Do you worry about him and how we can contain him in the midfield versus our midfield?
No. In short, no. He's on a good streak at the moment, but it's very difficult to do that if you haven't got the ball. And
good point.
I think we'll just have the dominance in the ball. That just totally nullifies Maddison. Maddison can do what he likes. He's not as good as Odegaard. So I don't really see Maddison as an issue. Son might be an issue because they're going to try and... I think they're going to play on the break. England have just scored. I think they're going to try and play on the break on us and use Son. Because Son has a habit of putting a goal in or two. We talk about Kane and him accidentally falling over, but we seem to forget that Son likes to hit in the goals against us.
Personally, I actually rated Son stronger than Kane at times. Dan, sorry, go on.
You're going to find Son in Saliba's back pocket, and you'll find Maddison in Declan Rice's. Don't you worry about that.
Yeah,
They'll
quite possibly.
pockets after the game. But,
yeah, and what's strange is sort of listening to me this, and then maybe it is a generational thing, or maybe it's something else going on in the background. I'm really nervous this game because A, I'm going, and B, I'm taking the missus to her first ever game, and that's sort of piled pressure on. And part of me wants that last minute winner, but part of me can't cope if it's going to be last minute. You know?
This is so true.
This
is so true.
You know, because
you're more in favour of a comfortable win than a last minute winner.
Yeah. I really want to see us keep a clean sheet. I don't care if it's a scruffy 1-0 win, like the old days. I want to see a clean sheet. Because that's the big thing that we were missing last season. We were going away from home, getting clean sheets, come at home, and for some reason it's falling apart. Just couldn't. I was saying to Kevin Campbell, why? What's happening? Why are we letting goals in at home? Just unfathomable.
What do you think is the key then to the derby on Sunday? Like, where's the game going to be won and lost for you?
For me, I think it's going to be one up front. I think our midfield is going to overrun theirs. I haven't really watched Spurs, but allegedly they've got two quite inexperienced wing backs. Yeah. And I think Trossard and Saka could tear them apart in the game.
The keeper is he's a professional and he's a good keeper, but he's not up to the level of Ramsdale or Raya, in my opinion.
No. But again, I think what I'd like to point to the few people that might be listening to this is to just catch Harry Seamu's analysis.
Thousands and thousands.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Is to catch Harry Seamu's analysis of Kai Havertz in the Champions League game and what he's actually bringing to the team. How he makes the space for Odegaard to score. How he makes the space for Trossard to get the ball and go and score. And what he's actually doing. I understand he's not scoring, and that's what everybody thinks and wants him to do. But, you know, I also think sometimes he's in a good position. But our attack is very right lopsided. We go.
You could see that against Everton in the first half, that everything seemed to go down the right, and then it looked like Arteta said something to them, and it went a bit more balanced and a bit more went over to the left to Trossard, and the goals came from there. Myself and Dan and Potsu were chatting at the PSV game about, and we talked on here earlier about Havertz, and Havertz doing more of the defensive work as well as creating those opportunities and creating the opportunity for Jesus and Odegaard, and he's doing that. The Xhaka role, but slightly differently. But the only thing he needs to do, which is the observation myself, Dan, and Potsy had on Wednesday, was just relax. That one opportunity he did have to score against PSV, he kicked like a girl, and it just went straight on. And as we used to say in the days, it went straight over the bar, and he looks stiff and needs to relax. I think if he can get that goal. I don't care if I don't want him to score loads, but if he can get that one goal, I think his whole body language will just calm. And I think then we will get the best out of him.
I think one of the very interesting things that Harry picked up is that when in game, Kai Havertz goes forward as if a traditional 9, but Jesus drops deep. That's causing defences problems because the central defender's got to mark Havertz. They've got no option. But then, as with Trossard, their PSV's right back got dragged in towards Jesus because Jesus can't be left in open space because he got open space where Kai Havertz had evacuated to go as the striking 9. And that just tore him apart and that to let Trossard score.
And this is exactly the point where I said to you,
Sunday.
To Dan, this is exactly the point where I said to you on Wednesday, did Havertz get something on there? Because Havertz was the man in the box calling for the ball, and Jesus was the guy in the centre circle who created the whole move, which went out to ultimately Trossard. It's good observations. Harry's clever. Harry's really clever with this sort of stuff. Listen, we were gone on here for half an hour. This was the original idea, half an hour. Let's do a half-hour quick chat. We've done 20 minutes talking about PSV, and now we've done another hour.
To be honest with you, you do love a good chin wag, don't you? We all sit.
I'm all right talking. You just stick to the song.
He just keeps talking and waffling and.
If Spurs want to play like PSV, that's fine by me because we'll just put 5 past them.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, 18 London derbies. We've only lost one, and that was against Chelsea in August 2021. I'm hoping that we can keep that run. I think this is the 13th or 14th London derby that Arteta's team is going into, and we've had quite a good record. I think we've won. I haven't got this stat written down. This is from my head, guys. I think we've won 10 or 11 of them, and then drawn a couple as well along the way. It's worrying, isn't it? Very worrying. Trevor, final question then for Demsek then.
Yeah. Well, you've about asked it all really, Fergus. It's been an interesting chat, but how do you? I personally think that when Partey drops out the side, I like having Havertz in the side because I think although Havertz isn't a Partey, obviously. Havertz can move. Havertz drops quickly, and it gives Rice that little bit of freedom to run around. So, do you think we'll miss? Do you think we're missing Partey at all?
No, that's one that I said that recently, maybe on the Ivory Squad, or might have even been on Twitter. But fortunately, nobody follows me, and I'm not trying to get followers, but I have that luxury. I don't think we've in past seasons. When players have got injured, particularly Partey, we've really struggled not to have them. And this time it's nice to relax and say, well, we haven't got Timber, that's not a problem. We haven't got Partey, we've got Rice, that's not a problem. X, Y, Z. But one thing I really wanted to pick up about the PSV game, and nobody's commented on this yet, when Tomiyasu came on, he didn't play the traditional left back. He dropped into midfield for Zinchenko. So he's been learning to play that inverted role.
Which Tierney couldn't. Yeah.
Which Tierney couldn't do.
Yeah, interesting.
Well, I also think Tierney shot himself in the foot, to be honest. Personally, it came out in the all or nothing because the medical staff, in the end of this, if you remember the end of that season, Tierney was injured and we lost him and he was a key player at the time. We had no effective cover, no Zinchenko, nothing. And he'd been playing injured. and didn't tell the medical staff, made it worse, and he ended up out for the rest of the season. And from that point on, Arteta never trusted him, and he never played properly again.
He has a poor injury record.
That's in the All or Nothing.
Yeah, I didn't pick up on that bit. Demsek, there's some instruction from Iceland. What you should do is tell your wife to go shopping, because she'd really like to go shopping, and give the ticket to Albert.
No, the missus. It's taken me 30 years to convert her to football, and she's decided to be a gooner. And this is her first game, and she wants to go to it.
Good luck.
So she's going
what a
to
game
it.
of shoes. What a game of shoes, eh?
Yeah, well, we'd applied. My wife's got a disability, and we'd applied for, I think it was a Sheffield game, and didn't get it. But 2 tickets come up for the NLD, which we were unsuccessful at. So we're now going to the NLD.
Oh, brilliant! Yeah, what do you just briefly then? Tell me what you think of the ballot system, and then give me your score prediction. Hate it.
And the reason I hate it is everybody goes into the ballot season. There's nothing to say that I couldn't magically get every game, and somebody get no games. How can that be? That's the luck of the draw, isn't it? Yeah. That just doesn't seem fair to me. And we'd actually got PSV tickets for last night, but we couldn't attend. We were double booked. There was a funeral and that. And my wife was phoned up and said, look, I need to let the tickets go so somebody else can go. Right? She says, I don't know whether you can do that. You might get a 3-game ban from the ballot. And if you keep doing it, you'll just get chucked out of the ballot. So my wife was told. So
I've not heard about that, and all I believe is if you've got them on a red or silver membership. I don't know about the purple membership with the disability thing,
she's red.
Okay, but you can put them back into transfer, and then you still get your cup credit and so on. So,
but she, as a red disabled member, she gets the same access as a silver. But she doesn't have the ability, like a purple, to say my ticket can go to somebody else.
So is purple a disabled season ticket holder rather than?
Well, I'm not sure how purple works. She's a red disabled. She's a red disabled ticket season. Yeah. She's a red disabled member because she's just joined.
Yeah.
So her ballot is the same time as the silver.
As a silver members. One, yeah.
But my understanding is that as a red member, she can't, if she wins tickets and buys them, but then can't attend, she can't then put them into ticket exchange.
Probably not because of the disability side of things. I can understand that.
Yeah. But then if she phones up and says, I can't take them because something else has come up that I can't not go to.
Yeah.
There's other issues. Scoreline, I'd like a nice 4-0.
You're going 4-0 as well. 4-0 as well. I did think when you said you couldn't.
I want a clean sheet.
I think we'd all like a clean sheet more often than not, but we haven't had many, have we? So, but we don't know. We've done the keeper sort of thing to death. Thank you very, very much for calling in. I know I chat to you quite a lot in some of the chat.
Hybrid Squad and
Hybrid Squad and some of the other ones when I tune in after these podcasts. Normally, it's been really nice to meet you and see you. I hope you enjoy the game. If you're over near block 5, block 6 on the concourse before the game, we get in there nice and early.
We're going to be up at we're in the clock end 1:20.
You're quite a way away, and if your wife maybe has mobility
issues,
then we're downstairs on the other end. But maybe one day come and join us down on block 5, block 6, and get your singing voice going.
Okay, great lads.
Take care, mate.
All the
best,
cheers.
Mate.
Take care of yourselves, guys.
Cheers. Bye. That was brilliant. It was brilliant to have some different people on, and Demsek jumping on, and Gary, which we haven't spoken to before. Trev, final words on what you think, and Dan?
Too many people phoning in. Too many people. It's meant to be half an hour. What are you playing at? Boys? Thank you, everybody. It was good. So many different opinions and different views, But I think that for me, to sum it up, if I let my heart do me talking, and I won't get it right, but if I let my head do me talking, we're a better side than Tottenham. in every position on the field. I can't see anywhere on the field I would swap one of our players for theirs. And I think if we play to our best ability, we should win the game easy. So I'm going for a 1-0 to the Arsenal.
You're doing 1-0.
I hate 1-0.
Dan?
You know, if it's 1-0 with 15 minutes to go, you know where I'll be, Dan, don't you?
Yeah, I know you'll be hiding around the back of the concourse.
I'll be out on that bloody concourse watching it on the telly, cringing. I'm so nervous, man. What is the matter with me?
No, I'm sticking with my prediction of 4-1 that we said the other night. I'm going to add to that, and I'm going to say not only are we going to win 4-1, that Richarlison's going to cry.
Dan, I think somebody else is going to cry as well, don't you?
I do. It might be Richarlison and Trev that cries, but listen, Trev's going to have happy tears. Richarlison's going to be whinging like a baby, and I'm going to love it. And I really hope. I'd love to hear the fans at the end of the game, 4-1 up. He comes to the corner to take a corner, and all the fans just start singing. He's going to cry in a minute. I'd love that.
Yeah. I'm just reading some of the chat in there as well.
Yeah.
Right, Trevor, do we have a Trev time moment or not?
No, we don't. The only thing for me is that when Fergus kindly played the little video at the start and North London Forever was being sung, I could hear people talking, right? You don't talk when North London Forever is being sung. If someone next to you is talking when North London Forever is being sung, give them the people's elbow on the chin and say, oi, respect our anthem, because this is what starts us off on the front foot and makes us win this game. That's it.
Yeah, the last thing I'd like to see towards the end of this game is a little bit of this on the pitch.
I would say just final thoughts is this isn't a time now for any negative thoughts. There's no comments on and judgments on players. That game on Sunday, you just get behind every single player of ours that's on that pitch. And if you're a fan going to the game, no complaining if you think the atmosphere is flat or something happens or you don't like something. Just start singing, make noise, get behind the team, make it as loud as possible. This is our derby, home derby. North London is ours. North London is red, has been red, always will be red, and will be red yet again on Sunday. So be loud, be proud.
Come on, you Gunners.
The time is ours.
Do I need to change this? Do we need to do Dan time? Oh, he's getting above his station, Trev. He's getting above his station.
I'll never be up to Sir Trevor's level. He's a Greek god of a body and a Greek god of a man and a Greek god of an Arsenal fan. So never be on his level.
I think you're already there. And there we go. Look at that.
Get your tats out for the boys. Guys, look, listen, this half hour turned into an hour and a half. I'm meant to be spending Friday night with my beautiful wife, but I'm spending it with you ugly kids. I'm dead. You got to face the consequences on Sunday. It won't matter. You'll be that drunk. It won't make a difference. Listen, you have been watching Guns and Yellow Ribbons, an Arsenal podcast by Arsenal fans, for Arsenal fans, and literally for Arsenal fans, because you made our show tonight. Thank you very, very much. If you like what we do, if you listen on audio or you're on Facebook or Twitter, please jump over to YouTube and click on the like and subscribe. I'm just checking over here. Got 930 subscribers. Oh, it's really weird hearing myself. 930 subscribers. We'd love to get to 1,000, just for our egos and shits and giggles and everything else. Up the Arsenal. Fuck the Spurs. North London is red. We love you, Arsenal.
Thanks for listening to Guns and Yellow Ribbons, an Arsenal podcast by Arsenal fans for Arsenal fans. Follow us on Facebook at Guns and Yellow Ribbons or Twitter at Guns and Ribbons. And remember to rate and review us too. Up the Arsenal.